when the first emergency declarations came down, there was only 11 counties in that. A lot of people were outraged, including me, because there was such devastation in up to 90 counties. So we called the White House. We spoke to the president's chief of staff, the FEMA administrator, and said, look, you're sending the signal that you're not paying attention to some of these rural communities.
You want to see how sick and distorted Kamala Harris's priorities are? Just consider FEMA, F-E-M-A. You know what that is, right? The Federal Emergency Management Agency. And you read about now all the time because there's nobody that's handled a hurricane or storm worse than what they're doing right now. Kamala spent all her FEMA money, billions of dollars, on housing for illegal migrants, many of whom should not be in our country, including $1 billion for gift cards for illegal aliens and putting them up in luxury hotels, with a gift card to welcome them to America as our veterans are sleeping on the sidewalks below those hotels and they're being walked into luxury hotels. Now we have a horrific disaster in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, and Virginia. That's how big this hurricane was. And the Harris-Biden administration says they don't have any money. They've spent it all on, they spent all of their money. They have almost no money because they spent it all on illegal migrants. How would you like to be a veteran and you've been sleeping opposite the entrance to a luxury hotel and illegal migrants come in and they're going up and occupying the hotel? That's what's happening. They stole the FEMA money just like they stole it from a bank so they could give it to their illegal immigrants that they want to have vote for them this season. You know, they're trying to get them on the voters' roll. We cannot let that happen.
This should cost Biden, actually not Biden, this should cost Harris the election. Like, this is insane to me. When I read this story, guys, Fed says there's no money left to respond to hurricanes after FEMA used $640 million this year on migrants. Are you shitting me? They say election have consequences, but we didn't think it was this kind of consequences. When J.D. Vance was explaining how they absolve illegal immigrants from breaking the law by giving them temporary status, which shouldn't be legal. I don't care if the law has been around since the 1990s. We need to fix that because that is a problem. And now the problems have come home to roost. Human desire is infinite, but your resources is finite, and that is some of the grains of wisdom and insight that I've learned from elderly people, from my readings, from my research. And those are some of the wisest words I ever heard in my life, because we all want stuff. We all desire stuff, but our ability to do those things are finite. So we have to prioritize, correct? And what makes sense for an American government to neglect the people that funds its government, neglect the people that puts them in power for what? People coming over the country because they're looking for a better life. That's not asylum. Sorry. Asylum isn't a human right. That's the difference between a conservative and a liberal. Conservatives believe that asylum is not a human right. Asylum is a privilege, because there's certain countries where you'll never become a citizen. China, I think, is one of them. Japan, maybe. I'm not too sure about other, but I know for sure China got strict regulations on who can become a citizen. But here in this country, all we ask is, hey, you come to our country legally, you go through a process. No, there's people in here we rewarding for bucking the system. Hey, let's just come into the country and make them take us in. That's like someone breaking into their house and say, I'm homeless, don't kick me out. And then there's cameras filming you trying to kick out a homeless person and say, oh my God, how can you be so mean? He's homeless. Yeah, but he broke into my house. That's the border. And not only did you break into my house, money that was supposed to be used to help American citizens recover from a disaster, from a hurricane, you can't help them because you used up all the money? Mayorkas already gave the signal that they ain't had no money. oh, we may not have enough funds for these illegals. I mean, sorry, not these illegals. I mean, FEMA gave $20 million to San Diego to open a welcome center for illegal immigrants. The funds were used for a long-term migrant transfer site and repentance system. Make it make sense, guys. Remember I told you how these Democrats, these people in government, that when they say they want money, they want to invest money in something, they tend to misuse that money. Example A. Remember when I told you how Kamala Harris had $42 billion to bring faster internet to rural America, and she still has not started on that money? Instead, she's been using some of that money for climate change initiatives. FEMA. Habits die hard. You think she's not going to do this if she becomes president? We invested $20 million into. This is wow. This should cost Kamala Harris the election. The fact that this is going on. And then the funny part is, remember I said we're paying for, it's almost like we're paying for our own destruction at this point. DSS Inspector General finds that the Biden-Harris border agencies did not fully assess risk of releasing non-citizens into the U.S., does not trust vetting or screening procedures. So imagine we're spending $640 billion to help these illegals come into our country. And the Inspector General coming out and say, hey, Biden and Harris's policy does not even assess what kind of non-citizens they're releasing into the country. And you wonder why in New York, 3 out of 4 crimes are committed by illegals. You wonder why. There's chaos happening all over the place. Remember Springfield, we talking about eating cats and dogs? But we're not talking about the more serious stuff that's going on in Springfield. I recently found out a Haitian immigrant was recklessly driving and crashed into a school bus. Totaled the bus is flipped over, front destroyed. I think the driver died and a couple kids died. No one's talking about that. The media's not talking about that. The media is silent on that. But they want to focus on cats and dogs. They're eating the cats and dogs. But these people who don't fully understand the laws of the country are literally a harm to themselves and other people. But we're not talking about that more serious stuff. And then I'm supposed to believe Harris is going to be tough on the border? Check out this clip of Jim Acosta, CNN hack. That's what I call him. He's going to debate this guy. And this guy's trying to talk about, what I talked about earlier, about what kind of migrants, what record of these non-citizens, what kind of rap sheet they come into the country with, and how they're being released into our country. And look at what this elite is focused on. Let's take a look.
I can say that 13,099 murderers were let into this country, 16,000 rapists, 425,000 people in the last 4 years have been let into this country by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's own Customs and Border Protection that are running around this country, Jim.
The other thing, too, it's Kamala Harris.
Crimes.
I don't know. Why do you guys say Kamala? It's Kamala Harris.
Jim, we know that they're committing crimes against Americans. Why can't these individuals talk about the individuals who've been killed by illegal immigrants? 13,099 murderers have been let into this country by this administration's own accounting, and you guys don't want to talk about it.
I'm just appalled. I can't believe this is the country I've lived in for 65 years. What's happening has to be intentional. There's no other way to explain what's going on. When I see the thousands upon thousands of military-age men coming alone without families, there's reasons for red flags. So, yes, the immigration issue is huge.
This is being done by purpose. Look, at this point, what conclusion could Americans come to? You thought immigration was a problem now? When this FEMA story when people become more aware of why only 11 counties out of 90 counties from Georgia got aid because there wasn't enough money to go around. So they had to prioritize certain counties over others. When they found out that Americans' resources that they're getting taxed for to fund this stuff, so when a disaster happens, American citizens can be taken care of. People can be taken care of in this country. When more voters find out that their funds that was supposed to be there as an insurance policy against disasters has been used up for other purposes that was not meant for that money. This is why there's never enough money for the government not to spend. You using money that was supposed to be for something else, and you used it for illegal immigrants? Make it make sense. America has essentially become a socialist country for illegal immigrants. Tell me I'm lying. We paid 100%, if not 90%, American citizens for the FEMA fund. And all of it got used for illegal immigrants, people who didn't even contribute a single dime to that fund. They're getting welcome centers in San Diego. Oh my God. And then the Democrats have the goal to sit here and wonder why the working class ain't going for them no more. Democrats have the goal to sit here and lecture men about how they should vote for Kamala Harris. If you vote for Kamala, look, I've been seeing online some rapper, I don't know, I'm millennial, I don't know this rapper. His name is Little Scrappy. He talking about if you vote for Donald Trump, you voted against your own best interest. If you're an American and you vote for Kamala Harris, knowing that she spent billions of dollars on illegal immigrants at the point that there's no money left, barely any money left, there's not enough money left to help these people who was affected by Hurricane Helene, and you vote for Kamala Harris, you're not only a chump, you're a traitor to your whole nation. In my view, I'm that close to calling this treasonous. This should be considered treason. FEMA has spent north of $1 billion resettling illegal aliens into America over the last 2 years. 2 years. Meanwhile, the agency is running out of money to respond to Hurricane Helene, which has left entire communities destroyed. This is a scandal that should end Kamala's political career. It should end. Mayorkas warns FEMA doesn't have enough money to last through the hurricane season. Wow. And you expect me to think about it this way. On her webpage, because look, I do my research. Y'all can say a lot of things about me. Y'all can say I'm biased. Kenny, you're too hypercritical of the Democrats. Some of my detractors will say in my comment section. But how can I not be? This is what happens when you do your own research. You start thinking, I'd rather the Republicans. I'd rather the Republicans. I'd rather the Republicans. This is literally what happened to me. Literally. And no one brainwashed me. I'm not getting misinformation, nothing. I just pay attention. And you don't think Kamala Harris is going to misuse the funds for affordable housing when she's misusing the funds for creating internet in rural America? She got billions of dollars to create charging stations. She only made 10. And how many years she been in office? How many years that administration been in office? How many years you been under Democrat governance? This is the result. America last. When Donald Trump said, what did you have to lose? It wasn't just for Black Americans. It was for all Americans. America, what do you have to lose? Them misusing your money? Craziness. Just last year alone, they spent over $500 million. Wow. Look at 2024, $650 million. In 2 years. How you spend $1 billion in 2 years? Leave it up to the government to find a way. Just sit here and say, Kenny, it's not on purpose. It's not on purpose. Then either they're incompetent or they're being nefariously negligent. This is negligence. And you want me to trust them with leadership? Oh, it's so... This is why I said if you vote for Kamala Harris, you're not voting based on logic. You're voting based on hate. You're voting based on feelings. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, the Democrats, they're pretty much, their whole messaging is how badly you hate Trump. How badly you hate Trump that if you got affected by this disaster, she still expects you to vote for her, and she hasn't shown up. It's been I don't know how many days. They still haven't showed up on the ground. George Bush waited 3 days to respond. I know y'all remember this flashback. Let's go back to memory lane. Obama blasted Bush for not immediately visiting New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. Bush waited 3 days versus Biden 7, and this was a while ago. Hypocrite. Oh, you have to go to call out George Bush? This is my problem with the Democrats. Y'all got all the smoke for people who politically benefits you to criticize, but you don't have no smoke for your own side when they participate in the very same behavior. Inconsistency is what's killed the Democratic Party in my eyes. Stop. Bro, look, I'm already sold on Trump. I'm already going to vote for Trump, guys. Democrats, stop. I don't need you to sell me anymore, bro. I already made up my mind at this point. But damn, 1 billion questions? Like $1 billion? This is crazy. And then the rebuttals, the sorry excuse for rebuttals that the Democrats will have. Oh, we should be caring about people. We should. No. We need to prioritize our people first. How it feels to help someone who needed help longer than these illegal immigrants, but you skip over them to help the new people. Like, make it make sense. We would say that's unfair. How many homeless veterans have been in this country? And illegals, they come from a poor country or whatever, wanting better economic opportunities. Many of them are men that's coming over this border. Oh, but we're supposed to sit here expect this sorry excuse for a narrative that they're coming to seek a better life for them and their families. I'm pissed. As an American, I am pissed. And black people, you gonna sit around and let this happen? Y'all gonna continue voting like your Democratic leaders want you to do? But you want to get mad at Trump. You already survived a Trump administration. You're most likely gonna get more of the same, if not better. But you want to listen to Democrats about how Republicans are gonna run the country. Make it make sense. And I want to end off on this point. There's this American Republican that, I love this guy.
Don't ask for the American dream if you're not willing to debate American laws and embrace the American culture. When Vietnam fell, we had nowhere to go, and America brought us in. And my parents waited in line for 7 years. We all did, for 7 years to get our citizenship. I love this country so much that I wrote a blank check up to and including my life to defend it. We need to protect Americans every single day. Don't ask for the American dream if you're not willing to debate American laws and embrace the American culture.
That's the line. Don't ask for the American dreams if you're not willing to embrace the American laws and its American culture. Right? That was the same story with my parents. My parents waited years. My mom, I don't know how many years my mom waited. I think my mom waited 12 years before she was able to come into this country legally. But because certain people don't want to wait 12 years instead, I just want to break the law. I'm going to go across the border. I'm going to pay these coyotes. I'm going to put myself at risk during the travel, immortal quarrel, just to skip the line so I don't have to wait 12 years. And then the Biden-Harris administration creates incentives where, oh, look, they give you temporary protection status if you just cross the border illegally. Make it make sense. Show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. And the incentive is very clear what the Biden-Harris border policy was. This is what happens when you put Kamala Harris in charge of the root cause of immigration. She creates an incentive that brings more of it. Make it make sense. Now the resources are going away, not enough resources for the American people, and you're still trying to do this balancing act of chasing two rabbits. This is what happens when your political class has a lack of wisdom. If you chase two rabbits, what happens? You don't get either of them. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts about the border policy. How are you feeling about the fact that FEMA lost $690 million over 2 years? How do you feel about that revelation? And how do you think it'll affect voters' priorities in this election? Is it no wonder that most Americans want mass deportation? Because if you find out about this to me, it increases my thing. Hey, we should deport even more of them. And if it's about separating children and their parents, the children's going with the parents. I don't care if they're American citizens. I'm at that point right now. Oh, we're American citizens. We're born. It don't matter. Your mom, your dad broke the law to be here in the first place, so your butt wasn't even supposed to be here in the first place too. So if you don't want to be separated from your mom and dad, then just go with your mom and dad. It's very simple. I don't understand why we stressing over this false narrative. Are you going to separate parents from the if my mom breaks the law, she going to get separated from me. When Americans break the law, they get separated from their kids. We don't go, oh my God, we're separating Americans from their children when they break laws. No one does that. But we let illegal immigrants break our laws. First action coming into the country is break our laws. But we're so butthurt about separating children from their parents. Make it make sense. Send them both back. I don't care. Send them both back. Your parents came here illegally, had you here, and you're an American citizen, so-called American citizen, and we had to deport your parents, and then all the Democrats are fear-mongering about you being separated from your parents. Oh, kick them out too, because I'm tired now. I'm done now. I see that American kindness is being taken for weakness, is being taken advantage of at our own detriment. And it's time to draw the line. Conservatives believe in raising strong children. And this is what it takes to make strength. Sometimes you have to make hard decisions, regardless if it's perceived as good or not. Because these are hard, practical decisions that our American political class has to make. And I think Donald Trump is the only guy that can make it between the two. I digress. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.